In the 12 chapters of Lord of the Flies, we learn some important lessons about civilization, morality, and cruelty. The author William Golding explores what happens to a group of boys stranded alone on an island after a plane crash. The book's focus is on the internal change to savagery that the boys undergo, which causes them to do extremely terrible things that are completely out of character. Golding's Lord of the Flies carries topics of leadership, rational thinking, cooperation, and eventually savagery, primarily by his abundant use of literary devices, imagery, and symbolism. The symbolic nature of the book comes immediately in the first few chapters, where we see the meeting and organization of leadership with the boys. Objects like the conch, the signifier, the pigs, and the mysterious beast begin to represent the aspects of the boys that are changing to savagery on the island compared to those remaining rational. The first symbol we are introduced to is civilization and order. The conch shell symbolizes the boys' cooperation, calling meetings by blowing on it, and keeping the meeting civil by being the totem a boy must be holding during meetings to be allowed to speak. This symbol in action is shown in the following quote. "Ralph!" Ralph looked up. "We can use this to call the others. Have a meeting. They'll come when they hear us." He beamed at Ralph. "That was what you meant, didn't you? That's why you got the conch out of the water." The conch remains as a sign of the boys' remaining resourcefulness and civility, until its destruction at the end of the novel, which along with other symbols, comes full circle to mark their official fall to savagery, when a boy from the tribe savagely hurls a boulder at Piggy from above a cliff with the intention of hitting him. His civility left him, and with that the conch. Ralph heard the great rock before he saw it. He was aware of a jolt in the earth that came to him through the soles of his feet, and the breaking sound of the stones on top of the cliff. Then, the monstrous red thing bounded across the neck, and he flung himself flat while the tribe shrieked. The rock struck Piggy. The conch exploded into 1,000 white fragments and ceased to exist. Piggy, saying nothing with no time for even a grunt, traveled through the air sideways from the rock, turning over as he went. My personal favorite use of literary devices Golding uses is his imagery. He uses imagery along with the symbols previously mentioned to visualize how far the boys have strayed from civility. The little sphere of the beast extends to show the boys' desire to hunt it, while at the same time the signal fire as a beacon of hope for rescue dying out as darkness falls over the boys. As the final light of the day shines in Chapter 5, Ralph, the boys' leader-in-chief, makes important rulings to learn from the boys' mistakes. "Look at us! How many are we? And yet we can't keep a fire going to make smoke? Don't you understand? Can't you see we ought to die before we let the fire out? We nearly set the whole island on fire, and we waste time rolling rocks and making little cooking fires. Now I say this and make it a rule, because I'm chief. We won't have a fire anywhere but on the mountain. Ever." Hands were reaching for the conch in the light of the setting sun. He held on and leapt on the trunk. "All this I meant to say. Now I've said it. You voted me for chief, now do what I say." Although Ralph acts important and scolds the boys for their careless behavior, he makes good points, and this last mark of civilization in the setting sun shows their leader refusing to let the boys be careless. The boys will keep the fire burning and remain in the light for now.